It's my choice how close I keep certain people. I used to be emotionally abused by my father, and it's taken me years to even call it emotional abuse because I didn't feel I had the right to. But when I went through the Thrive program for good mental health, my coach said to me that I was emotionally abused. And this doesn't mean my experience was the most horrible on earth or that I'm comparing it to anyone else's, because I'm not. But for me, it was very horrible. And when I was a young teenager, I at first didn't do anything about it because I also felt this certain responsibility to keep the family together, to keep trying to forgive. It felt like it was my job to make things work, and that maybe I was just exaggerating. And a lot of this responsibility also came from my mom, who always asked me to forgive and to try again and try again. And after many, many months, I finally realized that nothing that's happening here is normal, and none of this is okay and can be excused anymore. And why I finally realized this as well is because I just couldn't take it anymore. So I decided to separate myself from him. And for over a year, we barely spoke a word to each other, even though we were still living in the same house. But I needed that, and I knew that that was the best decision I could have ever made for myself. I didn't feel scared walking around my house anymore. I didn't feel pressure to be a certain way anymore just to fulfill someone's expectation of me. And I promised myself that as long as he'd stay the same, I wouldn't let him get close to me again. But we both changed a lot, and I worked on myself so much during that year to be more stable and confident and to know I can handle it. But still, I promised myself I would never let anyone treat me that way again and anymore. But it was really hard at first because I was still trying to fulfill my mom's wishes, and I felt this immense responsibility. But on that day, when I made that decision, it was the first time I really put myself first. It was the first time I realized how important I am and that I deserve better. And only years later, when I went through the Thrive program, I learned and finally realized that it's my choice how close I keep people. I don't have to keep anyone that close to me if I don't want to and if I don't feel it's right. Even if my mom has a different opinion to me, she is not me and she isn't necessarily right, and I get to choose. It is true that people can change, but it's also true that you don't need to take the abuse that they're giving you right now. There's a big difference between being there for someone and forgiving them and giving yourself up in the process.